After returning from the USA chasing big wild carp, I haven't done a great deal of UK carp fishing. I just haven't found the inspiration that I've needed to get out on the bank fishing for carp. I've been chasing lots of other species recently, including perch, pike and sea bass, but I was feeling it was time to go back to my roots of carp fishing. Everything kind of happened at the right time really. It was a late summer day and me and a friend just decided to go for a walk by our local river. Not really expecting to see anything, I instantly got the carp bug back when we spotted a group of carp milling around some lily pads. We walked a few miles of river that day, which included both a tidal part and a non-tidal stretch. Both stretches we spotted carp and I was already making some plans. Whilst checking out the river a number of times and having a few more walks, I noticed I hadn't seen any other carp anglers, so I knew pre-baiting would give me a massive advantage. I went for my go-to pre-baiting mix, which consisted of 6mm Scopex squid pellet and 15 and 20mm boilies. The pellet would bring all the species into the swim and really clear the spots off, and then the boilies would be there waiting for the carp. As I mentioned earlier, we found carp on both the non-tidal stretch and the tidal part, so I decided to bait both. In particular, I chose spots where I thought the fish would feel comfortable. On the non-tidal stretch, I baited near a set of lily pads, and on the tidal part, I picked a slack in the river. The tidal stretch was quite a bit more faster flowing, and obviously with the tides, there was a lot more moving water, so I felt the carp would feel safe and feel comfortable feeding in a slack. After about a week of pre-baiting, I was beginning to see signs of fish on the spots. There were plenty of bubbles coming up, and I knew I had to get that first session in. On arrival, there was plenty of activity in the swim. There were lots of bubbles coming up, and soon after casting out, I was constantly getting liners. Just as I was getting my second rod prepared, my first rod actually went off. Unfortunately, it was a bream, but what I saw was a carp spooking off the spot at the same time. That definitely gave me confidence that there was carp there feeding. I went into that night knowing that there had been carp on my spot feeding, although all that followed was just more liners and more bream. No fishing for me today, just a bait up. I've got a couple of kilos of 6mm Scopex squid pellet, and to add to that, I'm just going to put in some 15mm boilies as well. There's quite a lot of bream in this stretch and I want there to be some bait for the carp to eat. Don't forget my Polaroids. Might be able to spot some carp. After a few more days of keeping the pre-bait going in, I felt it was time to see if the fish had moved in on the non-tidal stretch. As I arrived, I instantly saw signs of carp. I actually saw a tail in the lily pads just waving about. That evening I also walked downstream of a weir and put some bait on a couple of likely looking spots where I could give a go in the morning. That night too passed uneventfully, which got to me a bit, especially as I'd seen signs of carp the evening before. So I headed downstream to the spots I had baited the evening before, just to give them a go for a few hours. I grabbed the sawn off, walked downstream, dropped in on the spots, and only 5 minutes later I had a carp on. No, come on, pulled out. No. It just tapped again. There we go. That's a carp. How quick was that? Oh my god. Oh wow. We got it. That was a quick bite. Makes up for last night's blank. There's my result for maybe 5-10 minutes of stalking this morning. The spots I fished last night, the ones I actually pre-baited, were completely unproductive, which I was surprised about because last night I did see a couple of carp jump, but I made the right decision to move down here early this morning, drop a couple of rods on some spots. I did lose one unfortunately, but I also managed this lovely carp. The following few weeks got really hectic with work and other commitments, so I really didn't have the time to do any more nights. But if I had 10 minutes free, I'd get down the river and keep the bait going in on my spots. On a couple of occasions, I'd have a little longer than 10 minutes free, maybe half an hour, and these times I'd bring a rod with me, and I did manage to get lucky on that same spot where I had the first carp from. No way! I cannot believe it. I came down here to bait up and there was obviously some fish on my spot. That did not take long at all. Oh, there it is. Oh. Jeez, these river carp fight hard. Come on. We got him. We got him.
Alex.
Yo, I got one from the river.
What?
Yeah, man.
Just straight away?
I was getting liners constantly and I'm like, there must be some fish down there. And I baited it with like 2 kilos of pellet, like literally 10 minutes ago. I was just wondering if I could get a photo, but I don't know, it's up to you. I'll pinpoint it on a map, I'll share my location with you.
Yeah, man.
Cheers, sorry to bother you.
That's all right, I'll come over. Bye.
Thank you, bye. So I had a rod in the car and I saw a few bubbles on the particular spot behind me, and after dropping it in, it only took about 10 minutes, and I had this hard fighting river common. Oh, minute. No way, that was so quick. Oh, we got one. We got one. There it is. A long, old-looking common. Just dropped in the spot. I've been pre-baiting the last couple of days, and it did not take long. Probably about 6 minutes. 6 minutes of waiting, and this banging common took the bait. It's getting off to a great start. The time finally came and I had a night free to spend down the river, so I got prepared and got some fresh rigs tied. The rigs were my bog standard go-to carp setups using skin link and super sharp fang twister hooks. A simple knotless knot was made, and as a hook bait I used a 15mm Scopet squid bottom bait topped off with a 10mm pop-up. The only addition to the rig was a small PVA bag of crushed boilies that would protect the rig on the way down and also give a little bit of attraction right around the hook bait. So I got back down to the tidal stretch just on dark and got the rods out. This time the bream activity was minimal compared to the last trip. Maybe the carp had moved in. The carp certainly had got onto the pre-bait, and it turned out to be a very productive night's fishing. I hope there's a carp. Here's a carp. You got one? Tidal river carp.
Is this the third bite? Oh, he's so nice. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Yes! That's 3 fish in a night.
3. Wow. This particular spot did 2 bites. And all it is just a shallow slack, and they were obviously there. And only one bream as well. Only got woken up once by a bream.
And the rest have all been nice carp.
Oh. It's been watching a bar now this morning as well, flying across the far bank. After pre-baiting it for a few days and seeing quite a few bubbles on it whilst pre-baiting, I knew I had to give it a go. 2 lovely commons, and I've got a mirror in the net as well. Whoa! The stocks of carp in this river are completely unknown to me, other than the odd fish I've seen. So each time when the rod rips off, it's very exciting to get your first glimpse of the fish and see what it is. And after 2 small commons, I was pleasantly surprised to see a mirror on the end. That night had been so productive, I just had to return soon for another go, and the following night I was back.
Look at that, Alex.
Beautiful mirror.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Go, sorry. Go.
dogs were probably like, what?
What is that?
animal?
It's a miracle.
And that lady was probably like, what's it doing on the bank? What? Roly-poly release shot. Once again, work was starting to get very busy, so I felt it necessary to get back down the river as soon as I could and have another go. I arrived at the non-tidal stretch in the evening and got the rods out just on dark. Just one carp would do. I really wanted to find out what lived in this particular stretch of river. And that night I was lucky enough to get a couple of bites and be rewarded with 2 very special carp. Well, this is the smaller one of the 2. Still about 14, maybe 15 pounds. What a fish though. Big fins in it, and it fought so hard when it was in the water. I thought it was a lot bigger, to be honest. Oh yes. Carp are just like such cool creatures. And the thing I love about carp is they come in all different shapes and sizes, and you just don't know what you're gonna catch next. It could be a common, it could be a mirror, it could be a koi. All the scale patterns are completely different, and they're all so unique in their own way. But yeah, what a carp. And the other one I've got down there is a little bit bigger. Boom, we got one. Well, we got 2. Let's have a look at the other one. Look at that. Wow. Oh my word. I was not expecting to catch fish that look this good. Or catch fish this big. I was not expecting to catch anything this big. But sometimes you get lucky, and last night I certainly did. Wow. Oh, I love catching carp when they're like this. The few sessions I'd done on the river had produced more than I'd expected, but I've thoroughly enjoyed the last few weeks, and I'm looking forward to hitting the rivers again soon to see what else lives in there. The unknown really does keep me wanting more.